go. All right. Hello, 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 amigas, and welcome to Amiga Handle Your Shit podcast. And today is a bit different. I have my gorgeous, beautiful friend, Ashley Gonor. And Ashley is going to be doing something very different. Usually I'm interviewing people, but today she's going to be interviewing me. Isn't that crazy? So we're going to reverse engineer this thing. And, I've known Ashley for some time now, and I just want you all to know a little bit more about my path with Amiga Handle Your Shit podcast, how it all started, and I truly believe that Ashley was the best person to ask the questions and convey that to you all. So thank you so much, Ashley, for being here, for taking the time to interview me. And amigas, you're in for a great treat because I've known this gal. She's amazing. She has her own podcast, and she's just great at asking questions. So why wouldn't I get the best? So here she is. I love you, Ashley, for doing this. Thank you so much, so much.
Oh, thank you. I love doing this, and I love that you asked me, and I feel honored. And ever since I met you, the connection that we had and have has grown. But, when I think of you and when I think of starting a podcast like we did, at our age,
Right.
It's just one of those things where you're like, okay, I guess I'll do a podcast, right? It sounds kind of fun. But when I remember, Mike, I was in the group before you, and then you did the next group. And I remember hearing all these things, Amiga Handle Your Shit. There's a girl that does this podcast. I was like, what a cute name. What a bold statement, right? What a way to say to people, come on now, let's do it. Let's just handle it, and it just gave me, without even knowing you, this feeling of the person inside of you. I knew who you were. And then to find out your background as being an attorney and all the stuff that you've done your whole life, you went to USC.
Yes.
Right?
Like,
I mean, think of who you are and who you try to empower. I just love where you've come and what your focus is now as getting out of your 40s and wanting to do something new. But what I love is to teach people that are, think they're stuck or think that they have to do this job, or, they don't have any, say in what they think they can do, because people can be, do, or have anything. And we know that. But, I also, before we get started, I love the fact that we both went to PSI together, or we didn't go together, but we have that in common.
Yes, we do.
And that was your turning point, and I think when that woke you up, and it woke me up, and we had the same, mine was when I was, 20 years ago, but to have something in your life that was a benchmark that really transformed your mindset into, what am I doing? Well, I need more. I need to give back, because I just want other people to know that they don't have to live like that. They can be and do and have anything in this world. It's unlimited. And why do we put limits on ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. All we do is put limits on ourselves, nothing else. No one else is telling us not to do it. It's just ourself, our inner voice that keeps saying that we're not strong enough, we're not capable, all the things that aren't true, but we keep thinking it. But go to that place, Jackie, when you even met that woman, that's kind of like your angel that gave you that guiding light to say, you need to go to this seminar. And you didn't know why, but then, oh my goodness, here it goes.
Here it goes. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Ashley, for that beautiful introduction. I'm telling you, as you're saying these words, it really lights me up because it was something so pivotal. They say that when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and it's exactly what happened. Literally is exactly what happened. I remember Martha De La Torre is my kindred spirit, my beautiful angel, who I had known for some time at BNI, which is also one of those, as a networking group meeting. And, I had so many interactions, and she realized, she was looking at me like, I have something that I think will help you. And so I was like, please tell me, please, because I'm freaking going crazy here. Like, I, gained weight. I was anxious, a bit depressed. I mean, you name it, I had it. And So when she approached me and said, you know what, I have something for you. And I was like, okay, what is this? And so she says, this has really worked for me. And it really, opened my spirit and my guidance. And she said, this is PSI, or they call it Psi. And I'm like, what the heck are you, what are you talking about?
Right.
So yeah, because you're just like, what? And so then right away you go and Google it or try to find out. But when you go and find out, you're not getting a lot of information.
No,
So you're
clueless.
like, I'm like, okay, is this like a secret society?
Right. Do you have to go drink the Kool-Aid?
Right. Are you gonna go drink the Kool-Aid? Yes, exactly. Or in my case, the margaritas.
Right.
Right. And so when she said, believe me, and I'm gonna take you, and she paid for it. And after I
Oh,
I found out the price, I'm like, holy crap, because it's not cheap at
right.
all. And I thought, oh my God, what a beautiful, generous gift. So when I went to the first course, which was a 3-day seminar, and this is back in, I think it was 2017, I think that's when that happened. It was the most amazing experience. Um, uh, my heart was so open, and at that point I realized, okay, what I had already thought in my brain, I said, this is it. This is my pivotal moment where I'm going to make some serious changes in my life, because I was, like I said, there was anxiousness in my body. I was gaining weight. I was depressed. I mean, you name it, I had it all. And so, when I got out of it, the 3-day seminar, obviously you got to keep on going. So then there's the PSI 7, and then that's gonna, oh my God, that
But
and
wait. So Jackie, wait. So people are going to listen to you right now and go, okay, the 3-day seminar, why did it change your life? Because they're going to go, yeah, what? Because every time when I came back, or I used to pay for people to go all the time. After I was done, I was like, if you want to go and you think you're questioning the money, I will pay for you because it is that important to me. Some people I didn't even know very well. Like, I had a business because of it. I started a business because of PSI or Psi. And I remember thinking, when people would say, describe what the basic was, the 3-day seminar, I was like, you can't really describe it, but it was the most life-changing experience of my life. And so they'd be looking at you like, okay. But when I was working at this company that told me I had to go, or they were giving everybody a gift to go, this is where I was like transformed. They gave all these people this weekend, and I kept watching these people come back to work on Monday, and they were like glowing, and they were like, oh, Ashley, you've got to go. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, whatever they did, it was like they drank the Kool-Aid. So finally I thought, I got to go figure this out and see what they're doing. So it is something you can't explain. You have to do something like that. And it's not even that I don't feel like we're saying go to PSI, but it's understanding in life, when you have a moment that is that aha light bulb, the switch goes on and says, what am I doing? Life is too short to live in depression and all the things, or to live in this, in a happy place, joyful, a place of every day you wake up and think, thank you, God, for this life. That is where you realize, like, that's where you live. So when people are going to ask you, I don't get what that is, it isn't something you can explain. None of those things. It's a personal experience that you discover who you really are and what you're meant to do. Right.
right,
And
right.
then you do the 7-day. And I was the same way. Where's my credit card? I didn't have the money. Okay, I'll go do the 7. You have to go to San Francisco. Okay, I'll figure out a way to get there. I didn't know how to afford it. I just knew I needed more. And then I did the 10-day, the women's leadership. I didn't know and how to find the money, but here's another credit card. It just was in my heart that I felt I need that. I need more.
Right,
Right. You're
right,
just hungry.
right.
It's like
Yeah,
a taste. That
exactly.
3-day was just like this little tiny tease.
Right. Yeah. Because you're left with this, like, okay, so what do I do with this now? And
Mm-hmm.
the next level is the 7-day, which was like that dealt with not only the mindset, but also the physicality and the connection between, it was like psychosomatic, right? It's just
Right.
the connection between the mind, the spirit, the soul, and the physical body. And it just really solidified. That's it. I'm going to break these patterns that I've been carrying since childhood. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
literally, a lot of the stuff that we do on a daily basis is because we've been indoctrinated, domesticated to believe that this is what you need to do to get by.
Right.
And having done the PSI, I mean, I just was like, hell no, no more. I'm not going to do this anymore. I want to wake up in the morning and be like, oh my God, what a fantastic day. I'm going to live up my life. And I know in my heart that that abundance is just coming towards me,
Yes.
and as opposed to, as opposed to this whole scarcity of it all, because as practicing as a lawyer, it was really debilitating for me. I'm not saying that, that for every lawyer, because there's lawyers that love what they do and they continue to do what they do, and that's great. I love the advocacy component of it all. I just don't like the oftentimes the negative energy that surrounds it.
Right. Because you're constantly trying to fight for someone or get the like win.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
and inside we learn win-win. It's supposed to be a
win-win.
win-win,
Right.
right?
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, how can I win? And then the opposing side going to win too? Wait. Like that just does not make sense. In law school, they teach you to win.
Right.
When a client hires you, they want you to win at
Yeah.
any cost. And so someone such as myself, which I believed my entire life to be, but I rejected the notion that I was an empath. And I would feel people's energy. And I just didn't know what to do. I had no idea. And so I feel like I've been robbed. How come no one told me this existed? But I
Mm-hmm.
was, I was so close-minded. I was so entrenched in my career as a lawyer that I in that time and space, I had no room for growth,
Right.
no room to really find out what's out there. I kept saying, well, I'm fine, whatever. Like, isn't this how we're supposed to feel? And
Right.
you
Totally.
just
Or did I
survive.
went to school and I paid all this money and I focused and studied and got this degree and
Mhm.
this is what I have to do. So tunnel vision and I'm going to go and be the best.
Yes,
Right. I
yes,
don't care what this is my thing.
yes.
And that's what people believe, when they get out of college and then they think they're supposed to be on this like trajectory on the train track, with no detours and no growth, instead of thinking, open up, look around. What is there? What is, and then that woman coming to you like an angel saying, Jackie, wake up, in
Yes.
that moment, so you study, you're a lawyer for how long?
Oh, back then, so I've been a lawyer now for 20 plus years. So that was what, 17. So that was, yeah, 17 years into it.
Right.
And believe me, when I went to law school, I remember vividly saying, and just really saying to myself, I'm like, I'm only going to do this for 10 years. Don't ask me why I said that out loud.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess the universe knew,
Right.
um, because I don't know. Like I just said, I'm going to do this for 10 years, and then five 5 years pass, 10 years pass, 15 years pass, and I'm still in the same way. And I thought, no, this, a decision I made as a child to be a lawyer, doesn't mean that I need to stay practicing law the way someone told me I need to practice it. And
Right.
so I decided that I'm like, okay, no. Now, I mean, I have my firm, but I feel like, it's not like I work for the firm works for me.
Right.
And for a long time, I just felt like I was hustling and grinding, and it was that low energy vibration, because these are the things that we learn in Psi and then in other further education and personal development, that you know the best way to live is to live with ease and grace and flow. And being a litigator or going to court was not anything. It was everything else but flow and ease and grace. It
Oh my
wasn't.
gosh.
I know there's transactional work, but I've always been such a huge advocate. And that's the part that I do love of being a lawyer. But I realized that I could still be this huge advocate in this transformational life space. like even
Yes.
bigger, because I
Right.
think my voice is bigger than just going into a courtroom.
Right. Oh, so much bigger. And Jackie, when you think of leaving, so you were at your the 10-day women's leadership and you left there. And was that when you said, I need to do something? You met Michelle at spin class and she was having a podcast. Tell me that. How did you even
How
get
did I,
there?
how
So
did I,
see all the so when I believe in there's no coincidences in life, that woman came to you, right? There's no coincidences. And all these synchro destiny moments are coming to you because your vibration's high, you're open up, you're not in that little tunnel on the train anymore, making yourself crazy. So now all of a sudden, this whole world has opened up and you're like, oh my gosh, this is how life is supposed to be. And now the people come, right?
right.
They've always been there,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
now you see them and
Yes.
you take them for what they are for you as a gift.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So, going, really honing in into my spirit and my feeling the energy, because believe me, when I was, with clients, I would feel the energy and I'd be like almost suffocating sometimes, because oftentimes they came in, whether it was like domestic violence work, whether it was like immigration, or whether it was other areas of law, but they were struggling, and I, as an empath, I was feeling their energy,
Hmm.
and I did not know how to sever it. So then, after going to Psi and going through these personal development courses, I was in a position now where I could feel people's energy, but I realized, like, okay. And so when I was spinning at Soul Cycle, because that's like my go-to place to exercise, this beautiful angel appeared on neck. I would do bike 28 and Michelle Sora would do bike 29, or we would reverse without knowing each other.
Right.
And I remember being on the bike and being like, I'm like, I feel this energy with this woman and not knowing anything about her. And
Huh.
she turns around, she's like, hi, I'm Michelle. And so we were doing like a pose, like a kind of like a yoga pose on the bike, like stretching the leg. She's like, oh, you should do it this way. And I thought, wow, she's so sweet. She's so
Oh,
nice.
cute.
And I didn't know anybody. Here I am in Soul Cycle. I'm just
On a
minding my own
mission.
business, high on my mission. And so she was so sweet. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to know her. Because, Spirit was telling me, get to know this woman. And so when I said, okay, I'm like, oh, what's your name? And she says her name. And then we were like, oh, we should go for coffee. And so we go for coffee, like probably weeks after. And then she tells me that she leads these masterminds. And I'm like, what are you talking
Oh, I
about?
love
My
it.
mastermind. And so, of course, I'm thinking about Napoleon Hill and masterminds and whatnot.
Right.
Amigas out there. Napoleon Hill is an amazing writer, personal development guru. So he wrote Think and Grow Rich, right?
Yep.
And so, for anyone who wants to learn about that, but I'm going to tell you, I I was like so mesmerized and so like, so when does your program start? Oh, it's going to start at the end of the month. And I'm like, okay, can you send me the information? She sends me the information. And since that point on, we've been fast friends, love her to death. I've taken every freaking program she offers,
Me too.
every program, because she's that amazing and great. But you see, like Ashley was talking about, the synchronicities of life.
Right.
I was on a bike and she approached me, and
Hmm.
spirit said, talk to her. And I'm eternally grateful for all these amazing, beautiful messages sent from higher above, and paying attention, because before I never paid attention.
Yeah, exactly.
I never paid attention, and now I do, and I'm like, oh my God, what's next,
I
world?
know.
Next,
Bring it on.
bring
Bring
it.
it on.
Yes.
No, and I love that. And so when I have the same thing, and I think when I listened to that story, and when you told me how you met each other, and then you then you sign up, and then it's just like, where do I go next after the first one? And then you go to the podcast accelerator class, and you're like, well, I guess I'm going to do a podcast now. because that's what she's having now. I mean, it was like, it's the menu. I'm like, I guess I'm signing up to that one. But what I think what I love about you, Jackie, because I can relate, is like once you've opened your eyes and you've opened your heart to what the universe is telling you, and you're listening and you're taking the breadcrumbs and you're going, okay, there I go. I'm going to keep going. And there's another one, or the puzzle piece, or whatever you want to call it. But I always say you're going down the yellow brick road, right? So here we go. And then we're so open because now we're like, oh my gosh, I just experienced this person. I know there's more. And I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to keep following the trail and see where it leads me. But have the awareness that there's always breadcrumbs, there's always puzzle pieces, there's always magic, always. It's just people that have their heads down and so in that tunnel that can't open up and say, just show me God, or show me universe, show me what is meant for me, because it's always there. So you go, and so now you're thinking, okay, I'm in this mastermind. It's amazing. I'm learning and meeting all these amazing people that are like-minded. Huge.
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 Yeah.
Surrounding yourself with like-minded people could not be more of a gift to everyone. And that's why I think for you and your courses, and when you're trying to like empower all these women to know and be in a group,
yes,
and then they can feed off each other and learn from each other and support each other like you did. And you learn, you're like, now I want this for my people, for my amigas.
My amigas, yeah.
They have that just for them to see the light,
Right.
you know. And sometimes when you see that your little circle of beautiful amigas that you wanted to really niche down and like focus on that and empower that one little area of your life, and to go, I know if I can do it, you can do it. Yeah. And when you see what it's done for you, you want the whole world to do it.
Amen. Yes.
Right? Yes.
Absolutely. 1,000%. I mean,
but when you have that in you, right? You have it and you're like, well, I want you to have it.
Yes. And sometimes I'm like, God, like, you know, my whole modus operandi is to empower amigas, these beautiful souls. And I feel like they need to be awakened. And, you know, it's almost like you have to wake up from a slumber. Because we've been living our lives the same. And it's like, you know, when you drink the Kool-Aid, the juice, as we have, you're like, oh my God, why did I do that? Like, why did I allow that to happen? And but you know, sometimes we're stuck in a rut, and that's all we know. And you know, like you, Ashley, we're trying to pull our girlfriends, anyone who wants to expand their horizons and know that there's more out there for them. And with my amigas, I'm like, I feel like we need to be unstoppable and unapologetic about what we do, because in the end, you know, being a Latina is like having a lot of passion and love. And how can we show that to others? And sometimes we need a guide to guide us through that process, because it shouldn't hurt. You shouldn't suffer, and you shouldn't feel like you're stuck.
No.
Because life is more than just the 9-to-5 job. There's so much more. And so what I've done in my exploration throughout these years is I journal, I meditate, I always work out, because that is super important. And I always try to do good, not only by me, but by others as well. Right. And I feel like bringing amigas into all this, oh my God, if we could get out of our way, imagine what we can do. Because in my view, in my mindset, is that we can all live a macro life. And what does that mean? That means that if you do well for you, you do well for everybody.
Yep.
You know, I always say, you know, we have the ability to end world hunger. And why haven't we? because we're all so narrow, micro mindset. But
Yeah.
if we all had a macro mindset, a growth mindset, we would eradicate that.
But
So,
you know how you're either growing or dying, right?
yes,
So
yes,
what do you want to do? Grow or die?
right.
And I always feel, I love the saying, like when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And when people look at things in their little small mind, and nothing's wrong with that because we're all on our own journey. But when you meet people like you or me that are on, have seen the light and have seen this, have changed the way they look at things. So everything they see now has changed. So now when we have that vision and those glasses on, we see it. So what if you don't, you're missing out on really the meaning of life, and we just want to guide you. So having a mentor is huge. Having met Michelle and having her guided us to, it's so important. Success leaves clues, right?
Yes.
It's not someone sitting in front of you, Jackie, that can relate to you and all of you, what you create in your life, that you have surrounded yourself with these beautiful Latinas that look at you and think, wow, look what she's done. She's a lawyer. She's done it her whole life, very successful, right? All of a sudden, she's transforming into this podcast, Amiga Handle Your Shit, because she's taken this, opened her eyes, taken that course that, she drank the Kool-Aid, and now you're like awake
Yes.
and you want to awaken all the other Latinas and
Yes.
say, look, you guys, look what we can do. We can completely transform our lives, others' lives. Let's do this. Let's get on my train,
Yeah.
right? That's what you want. I
Yes.
mean,
Get
that's
out.
what I want. I
Yes.
want I want everyone to experience life in that way. There's no, everything is so perfect in life. And when you realize everything's perfect and you go and you take those little steps and you open up and you meet Jackie and you open up and you hear this podcast and you think, oh my gosh, there's a sign. I need to connect with her, which she is the most open person I absolutely adore. But you think of what you're doing for that community because they see you as this, why wouldn't you just stay as a lawyer, making money, all the things, and, this stature of being a lawyer.
Mhm.
And then you decide, wait, it's not fitting who I really am here to be.
Yeah.
And to take that pivot in life and to know that you're leaving that, what you've studied in college and did your almost 20 years, 20 years of doing that, and to think, oh no, I want this for everyone. I want people to feel the way I do. That is huge. That is what we came for, that song. This is what I came for, is what I always think of, like, this is why we're here. This is
Yeah.
why everyone is here. When
Yeah.
I've been in your classes and I've seen these beautiful Latinas like looking up to you and going, Jackie, what can I do? And tell me what to be and tell me how to, how can I think that way? And then you give them this formula of, empowering every week, and the light starts, the almost like the onion starts to peel.
Yeah.
And then they start going, oh, and then their eyes look different and they're glazing, going, oh my gosh, this is what life is supposed to be like. This is what Jackie's meaning. But to go through the process of your whole formula in your class and what you teach and what you teach from what you've known and then have grown to be so they can relate to it, that's the Kool-Aid. That's where they'll get their Kool-Aid or their margarita.
Yeah.
But I just see that, when you can find that those people that are drawn to you, they're drawn to you there's no accident, just like your sweet angel and Michelle and all that, meeting you, all the things that when people look at it that way and embrace it and think that's for me, I need to listen. I'm here for a reason. There's no coincidences in life at all. And let me listen to Jackie. And I have to listen because I know that she's going to teach me how to peel this stuff off of me so I can live this beautiful life I'm here to live. We're not here to suffer. We're not here to be depressed. We're here to live life in love and give back and, create this beautiful love, be loving and giving.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, 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 yes. All that stuff.
Amen.
Amen. All that stuff. But it's so true. I mean, we have to, peel the onion and dig deep. And that's exactly what happened for me. Because I always say, and you always say it too, Ashley, everything is happening for us, never to us.
Yep.
And when you approach life that way, every bad situation that you think it's a bad situation, if you ask, okay, well, what is this supposed to be for me? Like,
Yep.
why is this here? And when you start really going through that, analyzation of it all, then you start to dig in and be like, oh my God, what have I been doing? Why do I keep attacking? Why do I keep reacting? Why? All your whys will be answered just by doing a simple step. And I've been teaching amigas out there through the Amiga Way Academy, the Amiga formula, because not only I can teach you exactly how to problem solve, get you out of the rut, or empower you doing this formula, but because as a lawyer, I've been doing it forever, solving people's problems, I've also been transforming their lives without them knowing. As because like I said, I'm an empath, so I have been given this gift to know, to dig in deeper into the soul. And then when I've done this personal development, I realized, oh my God, here's the icing in the cake, on the cake. And so for me, developing the formula of the Amiga way was just like, oh my God, a manifestation of everything God wanted me to be and do.
Right. Okay. So where did that light bulb go off? So you start the podcast class,
Mhm.
Amiga Handle Your Shit. So before that, you
Yeah.
thought, if I create a podcast and I start talking and interviewing these amazing Latinas that have, or anybody, I mean, you haven't just focused on Latinas, but you've interviewed empowering people that have discovered the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to keep referring to that, but have discovered light, their beauty, their light, have peeled their onion,
Yeah.
you know? So what made you decide to do the podcast? And how did you figure out you were going to start doing this new course to teach your amazing people that follow you?
Oh my God. Thank you for asking. Because I mean, like I said, whatever Michelle would bring forward, I'm like, okay, I want more of that. I want more of that. I want more of that. Because I know that that was growth. Right.
Right.
And so she has this beautiful course, is where I met you, Ashley, the Fire and Soul. And in that course, that allowed me to be like, oh, wait a minute, like I can do a program now that I have my podcast. I can do a program too. And so
Right.
it was just like all linking up. And so, the podcast, the I mean, at first I didn't know I was going to do a podcast because I'm like, who am I? I had the imposter syndrome. Who am I? Girl,
Totally.
you're a lawyer. You're not, you go to court, not be on the airwaves. But here's the interesting thing about it is that when I was when I was about maybe, I'd say about 14 years old, I remember working at my dad's company, and a gentleman, Don Pantaleon, he passed away a long time ago. He says to me, he's like, Mija, I'm going to talk in Spanish, Mija, me encanta tu voz. I love your voice. Say,
Ah,
you should be what is it, a jockey, a radio jockey, or what do you call them, like a
DJ,
DJ?
DJ. It is
No.
a jockey, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm thinking I haven't heard that in a
like
long
a
time.
like a newscaster or whatever,
Yeah.
the voice. And so he's like, tú deberías de ser locutora, which is the translation in Spanish. And I was like, really? It's like, you have a really beautiful voice. And that just kept in my brain. This is what me being 14 years old. And so
Oh,
this podcast is just kind of like, oh, wow. Like it just came back to me. So I thought, okay, now that I drank the Kool-Aid or the margarita, I realized that that was a little angel telling me that this was in my future.
yeah. I love that.
Isn't that crazy? Like now I'm putting the puzzles together.
Yep.
I'm finally putting the puzzles together.
Yep.
And so when I did that podcast, I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to call it? And that's even a whole story in itself, the name of it. We were I went for my birthday when I turned 45, which was 2 years ago. Was it 45? I don't know, whatever. Anyways, it was not this past year. And Michelle was there. And I remember I was within a group of girls and we were talking about um, this one of our friends there was single and was dating, and the guy was like being indecisive and like ill, like not being like not handling his shit. And so we kept saying, handle your shit. But that just kind of, you know, it was in my brain, but I didn't, think much of it later on when I'm deciding to put a name to the podcast. I'm like, well, Amiga. And so and then boom, Amiga, handle your shit.
Funny.
I'm like, perfect. Because I had to handle my shit to get out of my freaking way, to open up my heart and soul, to really listen in and tune in. You know how Abraham Hicks says, like, tune in. What does she say?
Tuned in, tapped in, turned on.
There you go.
Yes.
She said it best. Ashley said it best.
Oh, we say that a lot. Mom's tuned in, tapped in, turned on. I said, yes, I am. And we're going for it. We're going to get the parking spots. We're going to get the first in line. We're going to get the best seat. You're tapped in, tuned in. You're in the vortex, right? You're there. You're in high vibration mode.
Right.
You're living in the place that you should be. Exactly. That is where life is the best. That's where life should be lived.
Yes. Amen. Definitely.
So you created this program. We've created our own programs together for 7 months. And when I described that for me, we go from the podcast first, which was, since we have that in common, and understanding, teaching the people that are listening, like, you don't know why you're doing it, but just say yes, just go for it. Because if that little voice in the back of your head saying, do this podcast or do something, there's a reason that you need to listen and just do it. And the minute you say yes and you go for it, then you go down that road. You're like, I really don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm going to keep doing it because I know I'm supposed to. And then you just do it. And then, wow, if I can do that, right? Let's go to the next thing.
Yeah.
And let's keep going. That's what life is for. We keep growing, right?
Yeah.
So you create this amazing program and you attract all these beautiful souls that come to you, that see your beauty inside of you, that are attracted to you from your energy. So when you live on your high flying disc, like you do, all of a sudden it's like a frisbees are hitting, like you're getting attacked by all these amazing, beautiful souls that are saying, Jackie, help me. I know I want what you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. This has been like such a beautiful journey. I mean, I finished the first course and literally the amigas were like, what's next? Because can we get phase 2?
Oh, I love it.
And I thought, wow, I am so honored. Like, and I realized that this is what really God has been telling me. And do it and get it done.
Yes.
Come on, girl, handle it. So I'm like, okay, all right. So I'm doing the phase 2. By the end of the month, I have my girls in phase 2 of the Amiga Way Academy. And I'm like, who knew this girl, me, would be doing this? Like, I had no idea, but what I want to say is that that's the beauty of it all. You got to be open. And the way to be open is by really digging deep into your heart and soul.
And listening, right? Listening.
Yeah, listen. Listen, amigas. and it's like notice everything, even just going outside, and I'm like, oh, I'm looking, and then I see a hummingbird. Like, I have never seen so many hummingbirds in my life. But that's because I'm paying attention.
Exactly. Your reticular activating system in your brain, you got to look, that it's like when you wanted to get pregnant, let's say everyone's pregnant, right? Everywhere you turn, or you want this car, everywhere you turn, you see every car that you want. It's that, it's when you're open and looking, because they've always been there. Those hummingbirds are there all the time. They're never not there. They've always been there, but now you're open to seeing it. And that's what you're creating for these beautiful women that see that now they are seeing the hummingbirds
Yes.
or whatever they choose to see as beauty, and the beauty that they've missed,
Yeah.
or that's always been there. And they're like, oh, now they see they're hungry, so they want a phase two. And that's just what you did too. So when you understand, like, we're all the same, we all come from God, we're all source, and we're all love. And when you realize you connect with somebody like you, and you just follow the path and keep growing and growing, because you're continually growing, we all grow, and to know that that when you look at your life from the hummingbird's perspective, and you look down and think all those obstacles were gifts. The obstacle is the way. I love that book. But when you look at your life and you see, gosh, why did that happen to me? Or being in that place where, shoot, that was terrible. Why did that happen? Or always looking back and, kind of kicking yourself for that, or putting yourself back down. But knowing, no, those are the those are the gifts. You came here to learn that. And, turning those around to going, oh my gosh, what's next? I can't wait. What is the next gift?
What's the next
And
gift?
it's always working for me, not to me.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly, Ashley. It's like, it's paying attention. A couple of weeks ago, I had my beautiful friend, Jana Lopez. I think you know her.
Yes.
And she's this beautiful, amazing writer. And she had her publishing company. She sold it, and she left everything from Oregon and moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Yeah.
So I had her on the podcast, and this is the synchronicity of it all. I had been doing my meditation, my visualization work, and I kept hearing and seeing a book, a book, a book, a book, a book. And I realized, I'm like, yeah, eventually I'm going to write a book. But it kept like a book, a book, a book. And so I interviewed Jana, and she says, in the podcast, she was saying about her workshops, and she has one in May 20th. And then she looks at me and she's like, you should be there. And then I'm like, oh
That's
my
it.
God, I have to go.
Oh, I love it.
And so I get to go in 2 weeks. I don't know when this podcast will drop, but I will be learning how to write my first book.
Oh, I love it. See, that was what my next question is before we close up, because I know we're getting to the end. But when your next thing is a book, and
Yes.
what's the point of the book? What do you want to write about, your life story? Do you want to teach in it?
That's the thing that I'm going to find out, because I'm going to New Mexico, Santa Fe, and Santa Fe is so spiritual. It is so, because I've been there before as this young person. I was in my 20s when I was there, and I remember I'll be back, but I never put a timeline with that. And now I'm going to be back, and I'm like, interesting how life is. It's bringing me back, and this is going to be my new stage, my new stage of life. And I know that in this seminar, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I know it'll be something in regards to Amiga handle your shit, but I don't know if it's my life story of how I handle my shit, or the life stories that I have with my guests. A combination, I have no clue, but I'm open.
Right.
Because I know spirit is with me all the time, all the time. And I know that I will know. I'll know then. I'll know
Yes.
exactly.
And I think the word like that keeps coming to me is like, you just surrender to the thought and you trust, you just go. And it's the same thing you've done your whole life. Like just with this last, couple years where you're like, okay, you learn to go, okay, that sounds interesting.
Yes.
I'm going.
Yep.
We just don't question. We just keep saying yes. And, as a mom, as with you as a mom, you always like, it's so important to teach kids that, like, just say yes to things. Who knows if who knows if the podcast was going to be something, but we said yes.
Yes.
And does it feel good? Oh, it feels amazing. There is something in there. There's that feeling that you go, gosh, I love that. And then you want to go to New Mexico. Oh my gosh, trust and surrender.
Trust.
And just, and what the thing that I look at you I relate to is, don't ever live life with what if.
Mhm.
There's no what ifs. What do you want to go to your grave and say, what if I did the podcast? What if I didn't, all the things. What if I didn't do those things? What if I did it? What if I did it? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I love that. Yes. What if I did it? And that's the thing, amigas. You know, live your life as the best day of your life.
Yes.
Always. And just trust and surrender that everything is working for you, and that you know, don't get stuck in the suffering and the, oh my God, I got a bill to pay. Yes, we all got fucking bills to pay. But
Say thank you
yeah,
for the bill,
thank you.
right?
Thank you. Thank you, because I can pay.
Yeah.
So, and it's not to say that people aren't struggling. Yes, I've seen many individuals that do struggle, but also know that that struggling is optional. Tony Robbins always says struggling is optional, pain is not.
Right.
So you can decide whether you want to continue to struggle or not.
And it's your words that you talk about when you talk about your bills or you talk about your struggle. Don't share that. That just brings more of that into your life. Talk about, just even if you want to pretend it's happening, tell Jackie how
Yes.
beautiful your life is, even if you're struggling. Make it sound amazing, because
Yes.
you'll be so surprised when you're telling your brain your life is this beautiful thing and you're thinking it's really not, but I'm going to tell Jackie anyway. But then all of a sudden it's like, wow, that is magic. It is telling God and the universe that is what I'm living, and that's what you walk into. It's that simple and that beautiful and that easy once you start living this beautiful life that Jackie's found. And it's so beautiful to hear and to know that you trusted and surrendered and used your mind. Listen to that little voice in your mind to say, Jackie, it's time to really start living your passion, living in purpose, finding your purpose and passion, and then waking up in the morning and going, this is the new day, a new day. This is all I have right now. This moment, this is all I have. And if I can wake up right now and help one person see that they can do the same thing, I have done my job. Right?
Right. Right.
I mean, that's who
Absolutely.
you are. That's the person that you are. And then you do it again the next day. But all we have is now. We don't have yesterday. We don't have the past. We don't have tomorrow. That's not even in our life right now. We just have right now.
Right now.
What
Right.
can you do right now? What
Live.
can you do right now to see the beauty and the love and all the things that you have inside of you that is just wanting to come out? And you're holding it in. Don't hold it in any longer, because that life is too short, right?
Yep. Life is too short. I'm telling you. I mean, really, 17 years of the same thing. And did I want to continue to do another 17 of the same thing? I said no, I don't. And so I opened up. I did my inner work. I did it. Yes, it was pretty intense, but I did it and I had the courage to do it. And that's what I want amigas to understand, that yes, it may hurt, you may feel a struggle, but it's in those things, those are the opportunities and the gifts that you are given
Right.
to rise up and live it up the way God, source, angels have intended that to be for you.
Exactly. And I think one other thing that I think is important to say is, we live in a life of contrast, like Abraham talks about. There's always, or life is not exciting. With you think you just want to live in a bed of roses for while we're here. That's not where we're here to learn. So yes, we are going to have the contrast. We are going to go down the valleys, and then we're going to rise up on the mountains, and then we're going to live there and go realize, and all these turning points and ups and downs. That's life. But know that those downs are for you, and that you're going to rise up from that, and know that it's all perfect, and that you're supposed to go down this journey, and this is what we came for, to learn those things and to grow. It would be so, there wouldn't be anything to talk about, no story to say, no story to share. You would have just said, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
all great. We came here to learn and grow and, create this story that we can share and tell other people, wow, this is what I did and what you're doing to all your beautiful people that follow you. You're growing and, oh, follow me.
Yeah.
I want to show you. There's so much beauty and love and so much life to live in that
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. Absolutely, Ashley. It is there's so much beauty. I mean, it's like sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, holy shit, girl, you did this?
Right?
Yeah.
I remember being in Montana with you last summer and you're like, Ashley, we have a podcast. I go, I know. Isn't that fun? Like, isn't that cool that we have that we did it?
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't anyone could do that. Anyone in the world. It
Yeah.
doesn't take, you don't have to do I didn't have anything just like you. Like, who's going to listen to me?
Yeah.
I don't have a book. Who am I?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
who is anybody?
Who
We're
is
all
it?
the same.
We're all the
We
same.
can all do the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's really what I want everyone to listen, that's listening, to understand that we're all the same and we can do, be, or have anything, do, or have anything. Life is unlimited.
Unlimited.
What is your
Definitely.
last words of wisdom, Jackie? Because we've
Okay.
gone over our 40 minute I know you wanted to go, but knowing you, I knew it was going to go over and I was like, I got to know when to stop.
Yes, I know. Well, you know me, I always have my guests always give me one or two tips of how amigas can handle their shit. So I'm gonna give you my condensed version of
Oh,
how we
good.
can handle our shit. So obviously the first thing is do the inner work. I would say about 20 years ago, or maybe less than 20 years ago, I read the beautiful book called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, right?
This
Oh
one?
my God, she has it there. Ashley is showing the Four Agreements, and one of the things it talks about is being impeccable with your word. And for me, what resonates with that is that in order for me to be impeccable with my word, I needed to do the internal work. I really, really needed to get out of my way and figure out what is Jackie all about, and know that my purpose in life is to bring love and joy to amigas on this planet. And so as soon as I realized that, I'm like, oh my God, love begets love. So if I put that space, that energy, that vibration, it's going to come back.
Yeah.
And so knowing that you need to do the inner work, and that's either hiring a coach or getting yourself in these Tony Robbins or these programs, especially my program, which, I'm offering them, but you must do the inner work, and you're going to know in your heart of hearts that this is the way to be, and that you can be unstoppable and unapologetic living in this high vibration. But first, it starts with you, and not going to purchase, a car or a spa. Believe me, those are nice things,
Yeah.
but it requires being truthful to yourself and really letting go and releasing, allowing for spirit to guide you. And I feel like that's the way, amigas should handle their shit, is do the inner work. How so many amigas out there don't do the inner work.
And why
In
do you
fact,
think that? Why do you think that, Jackie?
I think a lot of them don't know that this is available to them. And then those that do know don't have time, quote unquote,
Right.
don't have time. And time is a hot commodity, right? Like I know time, believe me. You go to
Right.
court, you're late, your case dismissed, believe me, you're going to be on time, right? So I know time. But here's the thing, we can all make time if we make it a priority.
Yeah.
You know, does that mean you get up 45 minutes earlier than everybody does? Then that's what you got to do.
Yep. We all have the same amount of time, but there's no one gets extra.
Exactly, exactly. So, I hope that amigas out there who are listening in, remember that in order to be impeccable with your word, you gotta do the inner work. The only reason you can really handle your shit is by digging deep and being truthful to yourself. Don't lie. Don't lie to yourself that everything's okay, you know, because sometimes it's not okay. But it's okay to say that, but address it.
Right.
Address it.
And worthiness too. I
And
feel there's
yeah,
there's something about worthiness that's coming to me, and that everyone is worthy of that.
yeah,
There's not one person that's not worthy of feeling that way.
yeah, exactly. And for me, it's like my role in life is like to awaken those that have been in slumber, who have been on autopilot.
Hmm.
How many moms out there are on autopilot?
I know.
Not just amigas, it's just everyone. All these
Right.
beautiful souls, not really consciously living.
Mm-mm.
They've been living an unconscious life.
Yes.
So I want to let everyone know that, let's join the gravy train and drink the Kool-Aid. Come and drink the Kool-Aid with me.
The gravy train. That's hilarious.
I might have made it,
Oh,
but.
no, you're so cute. I loved it. Thank you for letting me
Thank
do
you.
this, Jackie. That's so fun. Just
Oh,
like having a conversation with my one of my best friends. And I
thank
love what you're doing and love that you have this mission in your heart and it's so strong and you're not letting it even die down at all. And now to find Jana and go down to see about writing a book and, just life is, we're never too old to do anything. And it doesn't matter where you start really opening your eyes and saying, don't ever use the excuse I'm too old, or never use the excuse I don't have enough time. There's no excuses.
right.
Like we all have the same, we're all here on this planet to, do this journey and do the best we can. And that's all, that we're all here to do, and
Yeah,
love
yeah.
and give
Love and
and
give.
grow.
Yes,
Right.
yes. Love, give, and grow. You know, and I love that. Thank you so much, Ashley. And thank
You're
you, Amiga,
welcome.
for listening to me and to my beautiful friend Ashley interviewing me. Oh my God, this was amazing. Thank you so much, Ashley.
You're
I
so
love you to
welcome.
death. I
I
love you
love
to death.
you. I love you so much.